First, I would like to start by paying my respects to the venerables here in the room and our chief guest for today, Dr. Saharabuddhe, President of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Dr. Tean Samnang, the Director General of NIDIR, all my colleague from the Ministry of Culture, and all dear friends and participants from NIDIR and from other institutions in Cambodia. It is indeed a pleasure for me to deliver the vote of thanks today on this prestigious dialogue named as the Knowledge India Dialogue. I thank all of the participants and the organizers, and especially the speakers, Venerable Khy Sovanratana, our distinguished ICCR alumnus, who have participated today in this dialogue and given such valuable ideas and proposals that I'm sure Dr. Saharabuddhe would be delighted to take forward when he returns to India. The particular suggestions made by many of our participants today, particularly the ones of making a cultural center, is entirely in the remit of President ICCR, and I would request Dr. Saharabuddhe to look at this proposal very seriously, because India and Cambodia are actually civilizational and cultural partners and civilizational kins, as was brought out by Excellency Samdech Khy Sovanratana, who pointed out that our relations perhaps go even beyond 1st century CE, and the evidence of it which is available to see and to witness in every corner of Cambodia. So that is a very valuable suggestion which I would request Dr. Saharabuddhe to consider. We at the embassy would be delighted to have an India Cultural Center here, which disseminates knowledge from India, which Dr. Saharabuddhe mentioned is the forte of Indian culture and Indian democracy. Similarly, somebody mentioned why not many Indians visiting Cambodia. I completely agree. And I'm sure Dr. Saharabuddhe also agrees that we need to have more and more people visit. People-to-people contact is an important part of our relationship that we really need to focus on. We need to take it to the level of the historical level, where we were so connected and much more connected than we are in the present times. We at the Embassy of India and as the Ambassador of India to Cambodia are making extensive efforts to make sure that we have direct flights and connectivity, which would definitely enhance the tourist potential and then of course also the trade potential between our two countries. We hope that we will be successful in this endeavor with the help of our two governments, and also Dr. Saharabuddhe, who has promised to follow up with the Indian government and the Indian private sector. Dr. Saharabuddhe mentioned very rightly about the India being a knowledge society, and that India's main strength has always been its knowledge. And he has mentioned many disciplines such as yoga, Ayurveda, languages, and of course our religious connects and our religious philosophies, which form the part of Indic studies and form the part of the knowledge body of Indian Indology. While you may, as students of international relations and as practitioners of diplomacy, would perhaps wonder why that would be important for Cambodian diplomats, I would tend to say that it's very important for all diplomats, because and especially for you as Cambodian diplomats and Cambodian practitioners of international relations and policy, because our international relations and our diplomacy is informed by our cultural and our philosophy and our ethos, which believes in peace and pacifism, and that comes from that informs our strategic, outlook to the rest of the world. And since you as Cambodians have that cultural ethos through Buddhism and through other Indic ideas and philosophies that have spread over the years, that is of relevance to you equally in contemporary times when you go out and represent your countries. And also, not just our philosophies from Buddhism as well as from other Indic thoughts, but also our secular texts, which of Dhamma Shastras and economic texts are important. Arthashastras are important for that informing us on our approach to statecraft. And that is where perhaps India and Cambodia can go out to the world with our with our ancient background, which is a shared cultural and philosophical background. So I would, if we were to have an India Center, we would definitely cooperate with NIDIR and other institutions on focusing on bringing ancient philosophical thoughts, Indic thoughts, into contemporary international relations and diplomacy to inform our strategic thinking of current times. Similarly, in the economic side as well, yoga and Ayurveda and our ancient medicinal knowledge is equally relevant today. And while I have been in Cambodia for the last 2 years, I have noticed how similar Ayurveda is to Cambodian traditional medicine. We almost use the same formulations, the same roots and flowers and medicinal herbs, and that's one of the other areas where we need to take our traditional knowledge, we need to work together. And for that purposes, as young diplomats, you need to be aware of your own traditional medicinal knowledge and how that can be, in consonance with Indian medicinal knowledge of Ayurveda and yoga, could be taken towards the rest of the world, and especially in the West. And that's another area of cooperation that the embassy and me as the ambassador have been trying to focus on. We have proposed an MOU between the Ministry of Ayush, our Ayurveda ministry that promotes traditional knowledge of Ayurveda and other traditional medicine systems, along with the National Center for Traditional Medicine in Cambodia. And to you as young practitioners, I would say you should also look at taking your medicinal knowledge abroad to the rest of the world, and be proud of it and work with India because we are so similar in our knowledge. Someone also mentioned what is India's Act East policy. As Dr. Saharabuddhe mentioned, I would like to take off from there that this is a significant part of India's foreign policy, and it is especially with this government since 2004, our Prime Minister has been focusing exclusively and more so on the East and our eastern neighbors. And our Act East policy was a natural step to take for India when India opened up to the rest of the world, especially in the early 90s. And we started with opening up to our Southeast Asian partners who were at that point also going through a major financial crisis And we realized that working with our neighbors is the best way to open up to the world. And most of the investments during that time, when Indian investments went abroad, they went to Southeast Asia because that was the natural corollary. That was the natural, way to go. However, I completely agree that it's not enough, and we need Indian private sector to work much more closely in our Act East policy, and that would happen with connectivity. And therefore, India's Act East policy is completely focused on connectivity, whether it is through roads, whether it is through digital means, or whether it is through people-to-people connectivity. All of these are very important aspects of India's Act East policy. And to fulfill and fructify these, our Prime Minister had announced a line of credit, a soft credit line of $1 billion for all the Southeast Asian countries to be utilized for road connectivity or digital connectivity. And in Cambodia, we are focusing on utilizing this line of credit through the Ministry of Public Works to make road connectivity so that, as Dr. Saharabuddhe mentioned, the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway can be extended eastwards towards Cambodia and Laos and Vietnam as well. So we are working extensively and very closely with the Ministry of Public Works, and we hope that India will be building roads in Cambodia in the next 2 years, and we should be able to make an announcement during this visit of our Prime Minister. Secondly, we are also working with your Ministry of Ministry of Telecommunication to see how India's digital knowledge can be brought to Cambodia so that people in the village level can access digital services like making of a passport or making of their ID cards and so on through village levels through which are called as digital common service centers. So we would be again working on digital connectivity for people of Cambodia so that they can be connected with the people of the region as well as with India. On people-to-people contact, I feel direct linkages are very important, and that's another area that India is working on to make sure that we actually make our Act East policy feasible, because once we have connections, we definitely have more Indian investments. And it's people who actually bring and keep the culture alive, and therefore there has to be more people-to-people contact. And we make sure that with the assistance and the guidance of our President ICCR, we take the cultural relations and the people-to-people relations between our two countries to the next level. I really thank you all from the bottom of my heart for this fruitful conversation in the morning. Thank you, Excellency Tean Samnang. Thank you, Venerable Khy Sovanratana, and to all our young colleagues here. We wish you a very great career ahead, and we hope to see you connected with India. And feel free to bring your ideas to the embassies, to our embassy anytime, and to reach out to all of us. We are there for you all the time. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all of you on the 70th anniversary of our bilateral relations. And we hope that you will participate in some or the other event like this that we have planned throughout the year. Thank you so much. And now I would invite Dr. Saharabuddhe to present a token of our appreciation to Excellency